Hello, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole. As always, very, very happy and honored to be with you today. It is a beautiful day. Let us rejoice in it. That is how I'm feeling today. Let us rejoice in being alive on this day, in being connected on this day, and on choosing unity on this day. Yes, the topic that I want us to explore during this Dreamleapers Inspiration is unity, primarily because I think that it's something we could all use a pretty heavy dose of right now, don't you think? We are living in some strange times. Sometimes when people are so divided over ideology, divided over politics, divided over our thoughts and concepts about diversity, divided. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Jacqueline. Welcome to everyone who's joining today. I'm so happy to be with you and wanting you to know as we gather, we're thinking about unity. What does unity mean to us during this moment in history? And I've had this conversation with a lot of people recently who are like, we talk about unity, but how do we access it when people are at odds in the ways that they are? When there seems to be less trust than would be helpful in order for us to be able to see clear to finding similarities between each other, finding ways to agree to disagree. I think about what this country, the United States of America, is supposed to be. It is supposed to be the shining democracy. It is supposed to be this incredible exercise in discovering and practicing democracy, which inherently means, at least from my research, that we know people are not all going to have the same ideas. We know that people will not share the same thoughts and opinions because that's not human nature. People should have their individual thoughts and feelings and interests. But in a democracy, in this great democracy, the idea is supposed to be that we can have our thoughts and opinions and desires and live in concert with others who may not share those beliefs. That there's space for everyone's thoughts and beliefs to exist, to coexist. And, after elections, what has happened historically, look, in any race, in the past of the aisle, and I'll say in the past because we've talked about this, in recent generations, every child gets a prize, whether you're in a running race and there's the third runner-up and the fifth runner-up and a consolation prize for everyone. That's a false understanding that everyone should get a prize, in my view. I think it's important for people to understand there are winners, there are losers, maybe there are 3 places, first, second, third, but not the whole of everyone getting an award, because then you don't get to understand what it means to reach a certain level. And so, yes, there are winners and losers. Yes, if your candidate won, you can be happy. If your candidate didn't win, you can be sad. But in America, that is not supposed to mean that it leads to violence, that it leads to people digging their heels in even further and not allowing the process to continue. In America, what the covenant is that we agree, we follow an election, we let the people speak, and then we move forward, whether we are happy or not, to make unity when there were opposing sides. How do you do that if you disagree with people? How do you seek out unity and cultivate unity when your feelings are hurt, when you feel slighted, when you disagree fundamentally with someone on the other side. And, we talk about this as it relates to politics right now because we know that we're living in a political season. But beyond the political season is our daily life. And in our daily life, how are we approaching the people and circumstances that feel conflicted for us, where we disagree with the rules, where we disagree with the level of engagement, where we disagree with tone, whatever, we disagree. How can we find unity when we disagree? So, I've got some quotes. I've got 2 quotes that I want us to look at. And I think that they can be really helpful. So this first one is from Mahatma Gandhi, an incredible global leader from India who believed in nonviolent engagement and who was a great spiritual leader who really taught that we can find unity in the space of disunity. So here's one of the things that he said. Our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and the test of our civilization. Let me read that to you again. Our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and the test of our civilization. So it's not just reaching unity, but reaching unity in diversity. He says it will be the beauty and the test of our civilization. Think about that. Of course, it's beautiful if we can be across from each other in the same job, in the same community, in the same neighborhood, in the same country, in the same experience, recognizing that we are not the same. We are different from each other, and that there's beauty in that. That we don't need to squash each other or try to get people to assimilate to be just like us. We can welcome people and acknowledge what's beautiful about them as they are, and hope that they will do the same for us, that we can revel in the differences that define who we are and learn from each other and discover, wow, this is a pretty cool idea. If I get to know you, I learn more about you, I pay attention to you, whoever that you is, across the screen, across the hall, across the boardroom, across the dinner table, because sometimes that you is a member of your family with whom you are having conflict because you recognize you have differences of opinions, you have differences of how you handle conflict, how you move through space, whatever the differences are, the things that make you and the other or others diverse and different, rather than trying to squash them, embrace them, see the beauty in that diversity. And Mahatma Gandhi said the ability to reach unity in diversity, not only will it be the beauty, but it will also be the test of our civilization. And I was thinking about, what does that mean? When we're in good times, we don't even feel like we're being tested. When we're happy, when we have enough food, when we have enough money, when the environment is treating us well, even if it doesn't mean a question of wealth, just whatever you have, you feel content with what you have. And I say that because I've traveled around the world, and there are many people who have very little, who do not have a lot of money, who have just the very basics of life, and who are more content than some folks who have a lot of stuff and a lot of resources and money. So I don't mean that, but when you are content with whatever you have, with who you are and what you have, usually you have that inner smile. You feel a connection to others because your heart is open. It is during the times that are challenging, during the times when you feel like you don't have enough, when you feel contracted, because you don't have And these are times like we're in right now. For example, people who have lost their jobs, people who have either lost their homes or are about to, students who are not getting into the school of their choice, and then they start pointing the finger saying, it's because of you or you or you that this didn't happen for me. Going on and thinking about what some of the challenges are that people face that constrict them, and have them pointing outward and pointing at others and blaming others for something that's going wrong in their life, that creates disunity. So the test of our civilization, if you listen to Mahatma Gandhi, is even then, especially then, during those trying times when civilization may be on the brink of falling off the cliff, because sometimes we feel like that, right? In those times, how can you seek out unity? I believe one way we do it is, instead of pointing that finger outward, wrestle it around. Really, sometimes it's like, wrestle it around and point it at yourself. And ask yourself, what is my role in this moment? How have I contributed to the disunity of the moment? How have I contributed to the discomfort of the moment? What's my role in it? And what can my role be? What can I do right now to open my heart, to create space, to look at this situation differently, to not be brittle, to soften my stance? It doesn't mean that you get weak, but if you soften your stance and you go into the heart and work to figure out how you might be able to look at a situation differently, look at it from the perspective of the other person, and determine what can you learn from that look, from that different glance, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, making the effort to put your brain and your heart in the other person's shoes, and try to figure out, well, how is that person feeling? And what might that person be thinking in this moment? And how can we find unity where you don't compromise your values, the other person doesn't compromise his or her values, and yet we can come together? This is hard, folks. It's hard to do because, look, we teach our children values. We teach them by our actions, not as much our words, but by our actions, what we value, what we think is important, what we hold dear. And we hope and pray that they will hold those same things dear. And then they grow up and you realize they don't hold every single thing dear that you do, right? And does that make them bad people? No, it makes them different from you. How can you still love and welcome even your family if they don't share all of the same values that you share? If you talk to people whose children, as they're growing up, step into themselves and do not share family values, you will notice that it's difficult. The parents often dig in and say, well, this is what I taught you, and this is what you have to believe, and this is what you have to do. And they start wagging that finger, believing fully that they're in charge because they're the parent. But as a human being grows into him or herself and becomes an adult, parents, you don't have control over that anymore. You lost that control a long time ago. Yes, you keep planting seeds, but you don't have control. How can you love, respect, and honor someone who doesn't share all of your beliefs? How can you create a unity of heart when your belief systems may not match as well as you would like? This is not easy. That's a really important question and not easy to answer. It takes an opening of your heart, a softening of your heart, a welcoming of difference. And Mahatma Gandhi said that this will be the test of our civilization. Now, let's take it back out to the bigger arena of our world, our country and our world. When we do not share the same beliefs as political leaders, as other governments, as other religions. How can we still welcome people if we don't believe what they believe? What do you think? In practice, what I think many of these great leaders want us to do is to keep our hearts open and to recognize that there's beauty in difference. Mahatama Gandhi, there's beauty in diversity. When we can honor that beauty in diversity, we can have true unity. Not homogenous unity, but true unity, where everybody can be fully empowered and represent him or herself in a way that celebrates the uniqueness of that person without annihilating someone who may be different. Keeping open eyes even as you fully become your great self. And yeah, as Jacqueline says, love unconditionally despite our differences. We talk about unconditional love. It is not so easy to do, huh? How can I love you if I'm mad at you? How can I love you if I'm perplexed by your beliefs? How can I love you if I see that you've hurt someone or you've hurt me? Hey Peaks, how can I love you if the way that you've treated others is unkind? How? Sometimes you don't want to. How can I speak to you so that you can hear what my concerns are about something that you have done or said, so you can hear me and consider making a change? How can I do that with love? See, I think that's where we go deeper into what is unconditional love. If we consider, even during times of friction, even during times when, I'm not liking you so much, I don't like how you behaved, I feel like you should be punished. Is it for you to do the punishing? Or could it be for you to act as one who enlightens? Can you enlighten me or that other person to how I might have been able to handle a situation better? How I can course correct, and also how I can apologize if I've done something that's hurtful. Can you serve as a person who can do that for another? Offering unconditional love and support, not a lecture, support and perhaps observations that might even lead to guidance, and a little push to do what may be the right thing. These are things that we can think about in terms of expressing unity in challenging times. I believe it's worth it for us to contemplate. So I'm going to read this quote to you one more time from Mahatma Gandhi. He says, "Our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and the test of our civilization." Hear it one more time. Our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and the test of our civilization. I challenge us to look for unity today. How can we be united, especially with the people with whom we have conflicts? How can we be united in respect, in love? How can we offer unconditional love even if we're feeling agitated? How can we see through a situation, imagine the end, and find a positive way to get to that end? Instead of shutting down because we feel hurt, we feel angry, we feel unseen or unheard, instead of kind of crushing in on ourselves because we feel these ways, let's stand strong. Let's be strong and look for the unity in action. Look for how because if you can imagine a positive end out of any situation, then if you approach someone with whom you're having a conflict, you come in a much more positive way than you might otherwise. Positivity and openness lead to a positive outcome far more often than brittleness and negativity and pointing fingers. Choose the positive, imagine the end, and with a mind toward unity and diversity, adopt a positive attitude and then approach the situation. You're still strong. You're actually stronger. You're still clear. You should be clearer. Your intention is positive. Your intention is not to annihilate someone, not to wag that finger, not to make someone feel bad. Your intention is to illuminate the moment and create unity. You ready to do it? I hope you are. Hey guys, thank you so much for being with me. Please share with your friends that Dreamleapers Inspiration is now available as a podcast. So share with them that they can view it where podcasts are available. And if you would like to talk about the things that we talk about here on Dreamleapers Inspiration, I created a Facebook group page. It's called Dreamleapers Inspiration. If you look in groups, look up Dreamleapers Inspiration, and it's open to the public. Just like it, and then you can be part of the conversation. So nice to be with you. I hope you are feeling refreshed and unified and ready to spread those feelings of unity with your friends, neighbors, colleagues, loved ones, and even your foes. Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.